There's a letter that arrives in mailboxes across America every week, and the people who receive it almost always panic. It comes in an official envelope. It carries the seal of the Social Security Administration, and inside, in cold language, it says something close to this. You have been overpaid. You owe the federal government several $1,000s. Repayment will begin shortly. If that letter ever shows up at your door, or if it has already, I want you to do exactly one thing first. Do not panic. Because the worst decisions people make in this situation, they make in the first hour after reading it. And the right decisions, the ones that protect your benefits and your dignity, are simpler than the letter makes them sound. In the next few minutes, I am going to walk you through what that letter actually means, what the Social Security Administration is legally allowed to do, what they cannot do, and the specific steps that have stopped this kind of collection cold for thousands of older Americans this year alone. Stay with me, because if there is ever a video on this channel that you might want to save for yourself, or share with a parent, or send to a neighbor, this is probably the one. First, let me explain what is actually happening, because the letter itself does a poor job of it. An overpayment notice means the Social Security Administration believes it paid you more money than you were entitled to receive. Maybe over a few months, maybe over several years. And now they want it back, all of it. The amounts vary wildly. Some folks get letters demanding $2,000. Some get letters demanding $14,000. Some get letters demanding far more than that. And the most painful part, the part nobody at the agency calls to explain, is this. In the vast majority of cases, the overpayment was not the fault of the person receiving it. That is not an opinion. That is the conclusion of the Social Security Administration's own Inspector General. In one of the most recent reviews, the Inspector General found that more than 73,000 overpayments in a single year were caused by the agency's own miscalculations, not by anyone hiding income, not by anyone cheating the system, by Social Security itself, by outdated software, by employees doing complex math by hand, by paperwork that took years to catch up with reality. And yet, when the overpayment is finally discovered, it is the beneficiary, usually an older American on a fixed income, who is asked to pay back thousands of dollars they never even knew they owed. That is the system as it stands today. Now, here is what makes this moment particularly serious. As of last year, the Social Security Administration changed its policy on how aggressively it recovers these overpayments. Until a couple of years ago, they would withhold 10% of your monthly check until the debt was paid off. Then, briefly, the policy was raised to 100%, meaning your entire check could disappear until the balance was zero. After enormous public outcry, the agency settled on a new default rate of 50%. Yeah, 50%. If you receive a Social Security check of $2,000 a month, the default, if you do nothing at all, is that the agency begins withholding $1,000 from your check every month until the debt is gone. For somebody living on Social Security as their primary source of income, that is not a payment plan. That is a financial emergency arriving slowly. But here is what most people do not know. You have rights, real, federal, legally protected rights, and they only work if you exercise them quickly. Before I walk you through exactly what to do, I want to ask something small. If you find videos like this one useful, videos where someone takes the time to read the rules, the forms, the actual policies, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That is all I am asking. And I am grateful for every single one of you who is already here. All right, Let me tell you what to do if that letter comes. There are 3 roads forward when you receive an overpayment notice. Each one is for a different situation, and the road you choose depends entirely on what you believe about the debt itself. The first road is for the person who believes the letter is wrong. Maybe the dollar amount doesn't match what was actually received. Maybe the dates are off. Maybe they reported every change in their situation, on time, exactly the way they were supposed to. In that case, the right move is to request what the agency calls a reconsideration. The form you need is Form 561. Officially, you might see it written as SSA 561 on the cover page. What this form does is tell the Social Security Administration, formally and in writing, that you do not agree with their finding and you want a different employee, somebody who did not work on your case the first time, to review it from scratch. You have 60 days from the date of the notice to file this form. After 60 days, you lose the right to appeal that particular overpayment permanently. So if you believe the agency made a mistake, do not wait. Do not wait to see if it might work itself out. It will not. The second road is for the person who agrees an overpayment probably happened, but is certain it was not their fault and knows they cannot afford to pay it back. This is where most retirees actually find themselves. The agency miscalculated. The mistake was theirs, but the money is gone. It was spent on rent and groceries and medication years ago, and there is simply no way to repay it from a fixed income today. For that situation, the form you need is called Form 632, officially Form SSA 632. This is titled a request for waiver. And what it does, in plain language, is ask the federal government to forgive the debt entirely. To qualify, you have to meet 2 conditions. First, you have to show that the overpayment was not your fault, meaning you did not lie, you did not hide information, and you did not fail to report something you were legally required to report. Second, you have to show that paying the money back would create real financial hardship, that returning the money would leave you unable to afford food, clothing, housing, medical care, or other necessary expenses. If you can show both of those things, the law gives the agency the authority to erase the debt completely, not reduce it, wipe it out. And here is something most folks do not realize. There is no deadline on filing a waiver. You can request one a month from now. You can request one a year from now. But, and this matters enormously, if you file the waiver within 30 days of receiving the original notice, the agency is required by law to pause all collection while they review your case. After 30 days, they may already have started taking money out of your check. The third road is for the person who agrees they were overpaid, agrees the debt is theirs to settle, but simply cannot afford to have 50% of their check withheld every month. For that situation, there is a separate form, Form 634, titled A Request for Change in Overpayment Recovery Rate. What this form does is ask the agency to lower the monthly amount they take from your check, based on what you can actually afford. People in serious financial hardship have successfully negotiated this rate down to 10%, and in some cases, as low as $10 a month. Now, here is something nobody tells you, and it may be the single most useful piece of information in this entire video. You are allowed to file Form 561 and Form 632 at the same time. You can argue that the overpayment is wrong, and simultaneously argue that even if it is not wrong, you cannot afford to repay it. Both filings independently freeze collection. Both protect you. And most people, including often the clerk at the local window, will tell you to pick one. You do not have to. Federal law allows you to file both. There is one rule that ties all of this together. It is the most important rule in this entire conversation, and if you remember nothing else, remember this. Act within 30 days. The single most consequential window in an overpayment case is the first 30 days after the notice arrives. If you file any of those three forms, Form 561, Form 632, or Form 634, within that window, the Social Security Administration is required by law to stop all collection efforts while they review your case. They cannot take money from your check. They cannot garnish anything. They have to wait until a decision is made on your filing. If you wait more than 30 days, the agency may begin withholding automatically. And once that withholding starts, it is much, much harder to unwind. Not impossible, but harder. And every month you delay is a month of missing income. A few more things I want you to know, because they protect specific people in specific situations. If your overpayment is $2,000 or less, you may not even need to fill out the full waiver form. The agency now has the authority to process what is called a verbal waiver, meaning you can call the Social Security Administration directly at 1-800-772-1213, explain over the phone why the debt was not your fault and why paying it back would cause you hardship, and a representative can process the waiver right there. This is one of the quieter improvements the agency made recently, and most beneficiaries have never heard of it. If you receive supplemental security income, sometimes you'll hear it called SSI, you are protected by a different rule. The default withholding for that program is 10% of your monthly benefit, not 50%. The higher rate applies to retirement and disability beneficiaries, not to supplemental security income recipients. That distinction matters, because the letter you receive will not always make it clear which one applies to you. And finally, if you cannot afford a lawyer, you are not on your own. Every state in this country has a federally funded legal aid program that provides free legal help to people who cannot pay for it. Many of those offices have attorneys who specialize specifically in Social Security cases. They can help you fill out the forms. They can represent you if your waiver is denied. They can stand in front of an administrative law judge with you on your behalf at no cost to you whatsoever. To find the office in your area, type legal aid, followed by the name of your state into any search engine, and the right organization will be at the top of the results. Here is what I would say to you if I were sitting across the table with that letter in your hand. Do not panic. Do not call the number on the letter and try to negotiate before you have your facts together. Do not start writing checks to pay back money you may not even owe. Do not assume the agency knows what it is doing. In tens of thousands of cases every year, they do not. Sit down with the letter. Read it slowly. Read it twice. Pull up your records, your benefit history, your bank statements, anything that shows what you actually received and when. Decide which of the three roads applies to your situation, and file the right form within 30 days of the date on that envelope. This is not the kind of problem that gets better with time. It is the kind of problem that gets dramatically better the moment you put paperwork in front of it. You worked your whole life for those benefits. You paid into the system every paycheck. The fact that a clerk somewhere in an office building in Baltimore may have miscalculated something 6 years ago, that is not your debt to carry alone. The law gives you the tools to push back, and those tools work every single day for Americans who know how to use them. If this video helped you, save it, bookmark it, share it with somebody you love who might need it one day. The next person who needs this information may not have anyone to walk them through it. You can be that person for them. May God bless you, may God bless your family, and may God bless the United States of America. I will see you in the next one.